Hey, everybody. All straightened up there. Thanks for joining me today. I wanted to kind of start off chatting with everybody just to kind of give you some updates here that may or may not be apparent to you on the channel, but I haven't posted a long form video in a couple weeks, and that is for a very specific reason. I'm going to be hitting pause on the long form videos. It was really impacting my mental health just because it was taking so stinking long. Let's get that TV off so we don't get copyrighted. It was just taking so stinking long. Um, every week, 10 to 20 hours, and that was in addition to a full-time job. And I wanted to try it for a period of time to try to make it work. So the strategy was, let's evaluate things at 3 months, let's evaluate things at 6 months, um, and go from there. And it's a hard stop at three. Um, the reality is that the goals for this channel was to a try it out, b develop community, c help others learn, and learn myself in the process, and D, chronicle the journey, and then maybe just maybe, it would peak enough for um, companies to want me to review their products. But I don't really want to do that anyways. And that was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. Was I couldn't stop looking at the analytics despite trying to. Um, it just kind of became, I don't see how I was going to accomplish my other goals in life, like learning the things that I need to, work on the Tedward Ruxpin project, learn the electronics, learn the soldering, learn the coding, any of that, and still put out a long form video every week. So I'm a big advocate of therapy. Talked about it with my therapist. He said, I just think this is really bugging you a lot more than you think. So we decided to shut it down. Does that mean there won't be any more long form videos? No. I'm sure I'm gonna get, a burr in my saddle and, probably make them from time to time. Um, Post short form video because it doesn't take a ton of time, and the barrier of entry is there. And then every once in a while, if I want to, put together a long form as a creative expression and kind of chronicle a process, great, I'll do that. But that consistency of every week it was just too much of a grind. It was taking a lot from me. And it wasn't, I don't want to say it wasn't giving a ton back, because I appreciate everybody that's here and I appreciate the comments. There is the occasional negative Nelly and random bad one, but there's not, that comes with the territory. Does it impact me? Yeah, way more than I'd like it to, way more than I'd like to let on. Um, but that's just the reality, and that's what you got to be okay with. So I wanted to update everybody here. I made this announcement on Instagram, and that is where I'm finding tremendous community. So if you want to be involved with my journey and the day-to-day stuff, it's so easy just to throw up a story, throw up a post, and it doesn't take anything from me. And because it's only building community, like, I don't need anything out of it. Anybody can watch it. Whatever happens with it, there's no expectation, right? So it feels good, right? I've had kind of a couple weeks of not having posted a video, and it feels really good. And so that's what we're going to continue doing. But I wanted to make sure those of you that really care about the channel and care about my journey, wanted to make sure that you knew that. So I also wanted to just kind of come out and hang with everybody. And I've got a lot going on in the studio today. And I also came up with a good idea. Like, I worked with Lunar Prototypes of, building that suite, set up there on my electronics bench. It'll be great for streaming electronics projects, but you can see, the monitor and everything there. But then I also thought, hey, why don't I just throw my laptop on the table with the webcam, and you can see the entire shop. You can come over here and see the H2S and the H2D. I can turn you around and you can see, the A1s. We can check out the Snapmaker U1 and that hunk of junk up there, the Anycubic Cobra X. That's been fun. We could talk about that. So I kind of just want to, maybe develop a new, I hate the phrasing like new normal. Like I got really tired of that, phrasing during the active pandemic, right? And not against that saying because of any political reason, right? Just it just became so kitschy. Like I don't know, we found a way to like normalize a really terrifying time, and I wasn't okay with that. So anywho, enough of that rant. What do we got going on in the studio today? So the project you see, and we've got, I don't know about the licensing on this, but buddy Daniel's got his stream going on in the back, Kaizen 3D. So I'm going to try to block that out just in case that's some kind of copyright infringement to have his stream on my stream. But he's actually helping me on a project, and when I'm done here, I'm going to jump over to his stream and knock it out. So let me kind of show you what it is that we're working on. I'm working on a maker chip, gone through a couple iterations, and I was going to print another test setting with you here, and I thought that might be really rad. So I've got 4 versions here, and this was the first one. And so I'm trying to make a maker chip for Rocky Mountain Rip Rap Fest. And so we've got the logo on the front, we've got the QR code for Instagram on the back. And I know the lighting's kind of sucky here and it's not going to really zoom in, but it just felt like it could be better quality. Then I went way too big, and here's a size comparison, but that'll be just kind of fun for me to have. The third one, I flipped the QR code to be on the top side, and the quality was just garbage. There we go. It zooms in. You can kind of see how bad those striations and lines are. And then this was the 4th version. I did a whole bed of them overnight, and now I'm new to the U1 right now. Like the slicer is really simplified, and like, oh, I didn't click the advanced tab, so I ran an entire bed of these 10-hour print overnight without the increased settings. So I thought maybe I could jump on here with you all and um, run a new test, because K2 Kevin, who's the one that provides the template for these maker chips, and he is, I think he's the creator. I think he's the designer of a maker chip. I believe he is. I'm like 98% confident in that. And he has a ton of accessories online, and that's what's printing back here is a case to hold them, to get them to the show, and then I'll probably store the ones that I collect in another case too. And then he makes a really cool, like, if you're of a certain age, like I am, if you're my age and you're in your 40s, you played with Pogs in grade school and middle school. And so the Pogs came with a kind of like carrying tube. So he has a similar tube that will allow you to store pogs that you collect in the show, right? So I have the bulk of the ones like in a bag to give out, and then ones to collect. So I thought that'd be pretty rad. So yesterday and this weekend has kind of all been maker chip centric. So the case is printing on the H2S. I've got some filament drying on the AMS2 Pro over there connected to that A1. And it is a version of Tech Sonar's Crystal. This one is a purple though. And the one that's printing there, let's see if I can get you a little bit closer. The one that's printing there is a blue. You can see it up top there. And then you can see the blue one. So that's what we got going today. So I thought maybe you could join me. And we could, the nice thing is you're on this table, so we can just slide on over, and maybe we can work on this other maker chip together. We can kind of keep off. I don't stream his stream. Let me see if I can get you a little bit closer, better view of the monitor here. Kind of see me work, see what we got going on. Okay, this table is being, oh, we're about to rip the whole electric out. Let's not do that. That's the biggest flaw here. Oh, and of course I went under the hill with that. So let's not do that. That's just asking for trouble. That'll work, but I think I need to get an extension cord for it. That would be a better choice. Okay, hopefully I haven't lost y'all there. You got a great view of my door. Riveting, riveting content. Okay. How's that angle? Try to keep the glare off there. But I also need to be able to pull my chair up. There we go. So we got the Maker World slicer there. And let's bring up that. Bring up the Snapmaker slicer. So this was the one that I went in there and I had done a bunch of I ran a whole bed of it. So you can see the ones that were face down facing. I think there's some issue with the files, and Kaizen 3D Prints, Daniel is going to help me fix it. So I wanted to run the single one though with all of these settings. So I had gone into Maker World and Kevin had all of their settings in there, and that's another project. This is going to be the case for it. Pretty neat case, printed in that Sonar crystal blue. So that ought to be pretty rad. And then in my collections here's that one I was talking about, the case. That'll be pretty fun. He has the sleeves and what have you. So this is my recent. So this rats me out. I'm a big fan of the book Project Hail Mary. I went and saw the movie. The movie's pretty stinking rad. And how cool of them to provide this figure. Random ADD stuff here. So let's see if we can pull up that project. I don't know that we really need to find the old project because I took all the settings from there and copied them over to Snapmaker. So, we've got those all in there. And I just need to run this test. QR code is on the bottom. Need to flip that over. The QR code being on top worked a little bit better. So let's rotate this. We're going to go 180 degrees. Flip it up to the top. So you'll see quite a bit changed in the settings. First layer height, first layer, top surface, scarf joint seam, scarf joint for inner wall. Settings like this, the wall generator being Arachne, only one wall on the first layer. Like digging into settings, I'm not completely new on. To this level, I am absolutely new on. So everything, if you're new to slicers, everything that's red here is going to be a setting that has been changed from the default. So K2 Kevin on Maker World makes a ton of great stuff. I'm a big fan of his. But you can see he has these really dialed in, and I believe he works with another individual to work on these too. So let's go ahead and slice this plate with the new settings. We're going to run an experiment too. Somebody had asked me on Instagram last night whether or not the time was accurate. So right now it's saying 27 minutes, 25 seconds. So I'm just going to 25. And we'll see. I'm not going to do the flow calibration because I've done that already for these filament types. I've got a roll of eSun in there. I have a rad store not too far from me, about 25 minutes from me in Beaverton, Oregon. I live across the river, across the state line in Vancouver, Washington. But West 3D, their filament brand is Ambrosia. It's fantastic filament. I have a spool of their Quadra Teal in there, which I love, and then I've got the Snapmaker black and white. So those are the four colors I have in there. You can see the logo. Zoom in, right? It has been printing. All of the other ones were printing a hole right here, and I'm not seeing a reason why that would be happening in the model other than extrusion. But it doesn't. Let's see if I can get it on camera. The hole, no, that's not going to zoom for us. The hole is on the very tippy top of the end, like right here, right around there. I know that you can't really see the mouse. There we go. If I jiggle it, it makes it big. But the hole's right around there. So let's see if we can potentially that solves. So let's try these new settings, and we're going to compare it to the others that we have. Which one is that? And then we have these were our first three. Didn't go so well. All right, let's slice that. 27 minutes. Let's go ahead and print it. Upload and print. It's a little bit of a different process on the Snapmaker. Okay, and then it likes to forget the printer that you're on. It likes to unbind itself, which is really, really quite annoying. Yeah, I want to log in. It makes me log in every time. I name all my 3D printers, so this one is no exception. This one was really challenging because I really try to implement an aspect of the printer name that is what's unique about it. And so this one has 4 tool heads. So, and they need to cool when they print. So this one's Coolin Forel. They're all based on celebrities. So this one's based on Colin Farrell. I won't like make you cringe too bad and take you through all the other names, which I've been known to do. My wife helps me come up with them sometimes. Yeah, and this Snapmaker slicer is it's a bit buggy. So now that we've bound the printer, let's see if we can send it over the network. It'll do this too, where it won't recognize the request timeout. So it's being buggy. So you kind of just have to like go back out, save the project just in case. And you have to just kind of try again. Kind of sucks that it's like that. So it hasn't been this buggy thus far. Okay, there we go. No errors. So 3 attempts. And oh, it's trying to time out on me again. Let's hurry up and send it. Okay, so it's been successfully sent to the device. Round. So we can watch the print. Let me move you, move the table so I don't. Oh, and we got a wild Meepies. Meepies, are you here to help, Dad? This is Kiwi, everybody. You here to help? You gonna help a bunch? Yeah, you're just gonna rub around on the carpet. If you've never seen a Sphinx, this is a Sphinx. She's naked. We got a crop top on her because she keeps licking a sore on her neck. So there's a preview of the kitty. We got 2. I don't know where the other one is. Siamese. Technically an Oriental short hair, but I don't like to say that. All right, that was a horrible noise. Let me get you tilted down. You can see what's going on. Get you nice and close there. Maybe I can even like. I wonder if I can set you up top. That'd be pretty. I don't think that'll. I don't think that'll work. But we can at least move you here, and you'll have a pretty good view once the build plate comes up. Not sending. I sent it. It didn't go. It entered out on me. It's saying. Let's try to send this again. Upload complete, it says this time. We'll see if that's what we experience. Oh, yeah, the tool head's moving. See that here. Let me try to get you a little better centered. Ag in the way. Never enough room in this office. Oh boy. Get you fully centered there and zoomed in. Hopefully that works pretty good. Once the bed comes up, you'll be able to see it. Some attention. You can have some attention. Yeah. Yeah. Normally the kitties are napping. This is prime napping time. So we'll get that going. And you can see the U1 in action. I am completely enamored with this printer. I want more, but that's not a good choice right now. But I do see these replacing my A1s. And I wish that I could pull the trigger on getting two more right now, but I've got two very expensive machines rolling in soon. I've got the Eufy Make E1 UV printer coming in. That wasn't cheap. And then the project got delayed again. So I took the opportunity to upgrade my Makera Z1 to the Pro Edition. It was like $230 more. Initially, it was going to be like a 3-month delay, and I didn't want to wait 3 months. And now, with their recent delay, because they're claiming about like non wood material was creating a lot of static in the chamber. So now it's down to a 3-week delay. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger on the upgrade. And so I've got the Makera Z1 Pro Edition coming. So I don't know. I'm backer number 64 out of like, I don't know, 8, 9,000, 10,000 backers. So I should be getting one of the first Pro units, hopefully. I don't know, right? What they say they're going to ship and what they actually ship could be very different. Hopefully the audio isn't terrible. I know I have a couple machines running, like 3 machines. So let me know if it is, and I'll try to speak up. I'm not a soft talker, but let me know in the chat if it's too low. So we'll kind of just watch the U1 do its thing here. If you have any questions about the channel and the new direction, or any questions about any of my equipment, could also, take some time today to talk about my horrible experience, not only with the Anycubic Cobra X as a machine, but my horrible experience with dealing with Anycubic's customer service, or complete lack thereof. Long story short, they pretty much refused to allow me to return the printer. I told them the reasons it was defective. They kept offering me free filament to try to troubleshoot it, and that's not worth it to me. It's a $279 printer. I'm not going to try to repair it. My H2D $2,000 printer, yeah, I'm going to try to repair that. I don't want to box that up and send it back. So it's just a matter of time, and time is a premium for me. So I have gone ahead and I initiated a chargeback with my credit card company. They're going to be refunding it one way or the other. I mean, I've gotten the credit back. I've took screenshots of everything that Anycubic said, basically refusing to return it, and then me saying, "Hey, if you keep refusing, I'm just going to have my credit card company do a chargeback." So you can't really see this on the area of the bed, but I have been having this minor issue with the U1 where it's leaving a little bit of filament on the undercarriage, or like as it prints. Let me put a light up here, get a little bit more light going. I can do that. I think this new setup's pretty rad, and it's pretty mobile too, so I can take you anywhere in the studio here and show you what I'm working on. Let's get a little bit more light going. There we go. Oh, that's much better. Much, much better. That pointed down. There we Go. Yeah, that's a lot better. Not a professional videographer, not a professional YouTuber. So it is so. Oh, we forgot to start the timer. Okay, we got it going. Be a little off, keep it running here. Put it over here. It'll hold. I just don't want it to fall. Uh, Bed. Can't really see it over there. There, not really. Now you can. Okay. And hopefully it doesn't fall. But it printed the turquoise part of the outside, and now it looks to be printing the prime tower. So we'll let that run. I can't say enough about this machine. It's been incredible. I wish that I had backed in on Kickstarter. I was trying to outfit my studio at the time, and it seemed like Snapmaker was making a really big promise on this machine, and it was essentially $1,000 gamble. And I just wasn't really confident about that. And I guess the advantage is I didn't get any of the extras, and I did get this at the pre-order price of 849, which I believe is ending this week. Snapmaker has not given me anything for free. Snapmaker has not anything. I am simply a huge fan of this printer, and so really wish that I could get a couple more, but my studio setup too wouldn't really allow for the extra height. Couple disadvantages on the Snapmaker. The door doesn't open all the way as it does on my H series printers with Bamboo Lab. Still love Bamboo Lab. Still a Bamboo Lab fanboy. Oh, that tool change is such a sweet thing. Um, but this door doesn't open. The spools are obviously exposed, which I know they have a solution coming for. But my biggest gripe is actually the form factor, right? So the hanging filament. I'm not sure why that couldn't have been implemented in the back. Maybe it was just too dangerous there. I've also got a bit of a wonky Bowden tube there that bends a little bit too much to the left, but I'm not too worried about that. But my gripes with this machine are minor, right? I've been running a dehumidifier to try to keep. I live in the Pacific Northwest. Things are very humid, wet here. Not so much humid, but just constantly raining. So, but those are my only gripes. The instructions to put this together were an absolute dream, and it was a breeze. And I just love it, love it, love it, love it. I will eventually probably donate my A1s or to my local hackerspace. They're pretty big, Team Prusa, and I don't really care for. I just haven't gone down that road, right? I don't. Everybody that I know and trust, basically, the summation is it's more expensive, doesn't have all the features. But again, it's the open source, closed source thing, which isn't a big issue for me. So I may just hang on to the A1s too, right? I maybe one day I will end up running a print farm of some type. I don't like to get rid of technology anymore. I regret doing that too much in my 20s and 30s, and I would have had all of these kind of physical media systems that are coming back. Ended up having to rebuy at a premium. So I think I'll hang on to my stuff. Okay. Let's see what it has. So it says it has 25 minutes remaining. It promised 27. There's 4 on the clock. And I would say, like, I would add a minute to what we had. I think we started the timer about a minute slow. So we'll see how accurate that is. This print will take us all the way to the end of the stream here. but you get to see it in real time. I had my wife had requested this great cornholio, but she already has one. I showed a coworker who's moving into a new space, and he wanted this too. It's a toilet paper holder. I don't have the hands attached because I'm going to ship them, but here's the hands. And it works quite well. It's quite chonky, but the U1 printed that fantastically. And it took, I think, it's a pretty chonky model. It's pretty big, and I think this was about like a 5 hour print. And I think on the U1 it was going to be like 11, or on the U1 it was 5. On the H2D or H2S it was going to be like twice the time. So pretty good time savings there. Minor complaint too is on the screen. It doesn't really show the layer you're on. You can see it in the slicer, either on the phone app or in your desktop. But if you go into the camera, you can't go back out to the view where it shows the layer that it's on. So again, Snapmaker, this is an incredible machine. They just don't have the polished ecosystem that I'm used to with Bambu Lab. But again, I can get by. Like, I love the very polished, ecosystem that Bambu Lab has. I'm perfectly okay with Snapmaker not having that, right? It has led to a bit of a learning curve. I think they just dropped their own like version of Maker World the other day. It's got like maybe 12 or 14 models in it. Um, so, but something that's really exciting is I have ordered a set of CMYK filament for the U1 for that individual that has made the Orca fork that's got the full spectrum color. So we're going to be testing that out, where apparently those 4 spools, and this is kind of similar to HueForge, except not really. It's more on how it's melding it. And so I guess those 4 colors can make, I want to say 24 different colors. So I'm excited to try that out. That filament's coming tomorrow. So that'll be fun. But I love this machine and I wish I had more of them. And I could print the enclosure for the spools on the side, and I'm probably going to, or not. You know, I haven't been noticing as bad a wet filament issue with me running the dehumidifier in here. And I do have the serial dry boxes you can see over there on the right. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I've left this out. This has been out for a couple days and I haven't noticed any issues. I have not gotten tired yet of how awesome it is to watch it change those tool heads. I'm gonna knock on some wood here, but I might cry the first time it fails to do that. This is a machine that I would be happy to repair. Its level of importance to me is on par now with my H series, which I can't believe this has risen to the top of my list. One of the YouTubers I got into while watching this, Lucas Ingstrom, or is it Ingstrom? I can't remember his last name. I don't think it's Ingstrom now. It might be, but he's on YouTube. He's now recommending this over Bambu Lab printer as the first printer someone gets into. I don't know that I would do that, right? I still think that there's a big benefit into starting with the A1 Mini or the A1, or if you have the coin, the H series, because the ecosystem is so much more polished, right? I've had a year of cutting my teeth on Bambu printers, bought an Ender 2, messed around with that. That was fun. Bought this Anycubic Cobra X, and then the Snapmaker U1. I still would recommend people learn on the A1. There's just a ton more models. they can get some failures out of the way. They can learn what happens when they print with wet filament. They can break some things and be able to easily and readily replace the parts, right? There's just so much more in the ecosystem of bamboo that Snapmaker doesn't have yet, right? Like I can't buy those tool heads. Um, and I don't know if they've updated this yet or not, but if you break one, you can't run the others. You can't go down to less than four. So as soon as those are in stock, I will buy. The far left one is a different tool head, so I will buy a replacement tool head for all slots. That's not going to be cheap though, but I don't think it's crazy expensive. I think it's like $60 per, which isn't cheap, but it also isn't horribly expensive. Like I don't know how long these last, but then I'll have replacements for them. To me, this being an $850 printer and 1,000 MSRP, that's I'm not opposed to that because those three on the right, any one could be replaced, and that's probably an excessive amount of parts on my end. But that's just how I roll. Like where I think most people are used to that, $17 price point on a hot end, right, from bamboo. So just choices, right? That is considered a consumable though. Um, and this is definitely not the ease of swapping those hot ends either. Like it's a lot more intricate. You're connecting and disconnecting. I believe a couple JST connectors in there for the electric because I think that hot end is wired in there. I did buy some replacement hot ends and haven't really cracked them open. Let's take a look. I did get the 4 pack of the hardened steel hot ends. So I picked up 4 of these, and I think I cracked one open to take a look at it. Let's do that and see. So yeah, these don't swap easily because here's a bag with some screws in it. Light's making it really hard to see them. There's the bag with the screws, and then it comes in a anti-static bag. Yeah, this is a much more complicated replacement. There is definitely, yeah, there is 2 JST connectors on here. So this is a replacement hot end. Comes with, is that a silicone sock on there? Yeah, it comes with the silicone sock already on there. I'm not sure those silicone socks are made to come off independent. No. So you can see, like, obviously the top part there, that copper is the conductive for the heat, and then two JST connectors. Sorry, I know the shadow's casting really bad here. Um, but I wanted you to be able to see the print. So I got 4 of those. We need to replace any of those. It can be done. So four hot ends. We'll get I think I'll get at least the one left and the one right. Right. I probably will get more if that update isn't coming soon. It would be a real bummer not to have this printer up and running. So, oh, that's neat. They just noticed this. They put in a little card for the hot end replacement. Again, this is horrible lighting. Let me try to block that. You can go to the wiki. There we go. That's a lot better view. It gives you a QR code on the back to see how to replace it. And that's everything I've experienced with Snapmaker so far has been exceptionally good written instruction, really, really good wiki like Bamboo. So they're making the ecosystem right. They're good. I made a huge I made a huge mistake on that box for the maker chips. I just realized I thought I was printing that in the tech sonar. I wasn't paying enough attention. It's printing it all in solid white. Oh, that's a bummer. That is such a bummer. This is a 7-hour print. It's almost halfway in. It's 40% in, and it's going to be solid white. Oh well. Have more than one. I'll probably print it again. Okay, so it's saying 15 minutes left, and we're 15 minutes in. So yeah, there is a bit of a variance on time. That's interesting. Oh, I'm really bummed about that maker chip box. That's fine. We'll run that print. I think I'll get it going in the H2D then. Let's see if it'll let me take what a goof mistake. Such a silly mistake. That's that. I don't have that flow set up in my H2D, so I've got to do a calibration. I got to do a calibration on that for the H2D. All right, so we'll run that calibration on the tech sonar while the U1 plugs away. Man, I feel really silly about that mistake. It also could have been really bad. I noticed that I thankfully have enough filament to finish it. And that's fine. You know what? This will actually work out. Yeah. Hey, here's the silver lining. That white one will be absolutely perfect to test out the UV Make E1 UV printer I have coming. And I won't have to spend a bunch of white. That ink situation is not good on those. Hopefully that gets better. But yeah, that'll be a silver lining. Okay, cool. I'm substantially less annoyed with myself. I mean, I make mistakes. I make them a lot. So thankfully, that'll allow me to kind of because I was going to be pretty bummed about that color. Let me change your view here for a moment. Still keep you on that, but then I'll show you kind of what I was going for because I love what this printer does or this filament does. So check this out. Let me flip the computer around so I can see and what I'm showing you. So this is the filament I'm talking about, right? It's this gorgeous gradient color, and this is very translucent there because that's where the shelf is. I'm holding my card pewter advanced in here, and that's where the translucent came in. Daniel and I were messing around with this, and we're trying to UV print on it, and just it was too hard. I was trying to line it up with this. It just became kind of a bit much. And I threw this kind of haphazardly in my bag, and it got scratched up a little bit. But this is what I was going for on that maker chip holder. So that's okay. The white will be able to UV print, and I'll print another one of these right now on the other. I'm sure I'll need more than one maker chip holder. Get you zoomed back into the U1 there. And if you're just joining the stream, we're printing a maker chip here on the Snapmaker U1. And other stuff here in the studio. Kind of made an announcement. If you missed the announcement and you're here live, I'm kind of hitting the pause button on my long form videos. Oh, you can see the timer much better there now. We'll just kind of be doing, I think, lives on Saturdays or Sundays. But you're going to want to subscribe to my Instagram if you want to know when I'm going live. And that's kind of where I'm going to be posting a lot more. There's a really involved community in there, a lot of supporters of me and my projects, and some friends on there. And so that's just kind of where I'm concentrating my efforts. That's super easy to do. The barrier of entry on Instagram is low. The barrier of entry on bringing you along in the shop for the day, for an hour or so is low, right? So these are things that I already needed to be doing, that I'm not, neglecting other things that I need to do in order to do. So we got that maker chip going. That should be ending soon. What's it say percentage-wise on there? It's saying 87. So we might have a time issue. There's 24 almost on the clock right now. And it would, remember, it said 27 minutes, 25 seconds. And we started that clock about a minute late. So it should be ending. It's saying 3 minutes left at 87%. So we'll see. Let's see what it does. So we are now 1 minute away from when it was supposed to be done. So it was basically saying 27 and a half minutes. So when this hits 26 and a half, that should be the time. And it was probably honestly 90 seconds too short on there, but I'll definitely set a timer on the next longer print and see what it does. But I don't think that this timer goes past. That's fine. I can run a timer on my phone. H2D just finished up its calibration of that tech sonar, so we can get that going. Okay, where'd that come, guys? Well, that's interesting. The update to the Handy app has a picture of the build plate now. That's pretty stinking cool. Oh, you're not going to be able to see that. It has a picture of the build plate now. Pretty rad. Hey, I think it's docking. I think it's done. Yeah, it's done. So let's add 90 seconds onto that, 60 to 90. So 28 and a half. So about a minute miscalculated. Okay, not bad. I don't think that's enough of an issue, but maybe that's aggregated over time. I don't know. Oh, here, let me get the flow set right. Saved, right nozzle. And that RN. Sonar. Crystal blue. Oh yeah, that's got pretty big factor K difference than generic. So that's good. Okay, we save that to the printer. Pop that maker tip off there. I'll bring you around. Yeah, that's kind of in the way. That, where'd my microfiber go? That here. That was crystal blue. Okay, we got that built on the computer, directly on the H2D, and chip off. On view there. Door doesn't open all the way as far as it goes. Chip off. Scraper. Pretty hot still. I really, yeah, towers or prime towers rather. Oh, we took the to yeah, plate so much easier. Look at the quality here. Didn't do the weird mistake. Um, Slightly better quality. Had a good sound to it. Didn't do the weird thing on the M. It little bit of extrusion issues there, but very, very difficult to see. I'll have to see under light like how much crisper it looks. But these settings do seem to have improved, so I'll be interested to see um, what Kaizen 3D print settings do to dial it in. But that's not a bad. Have that as our recent one. So, all right, we're about to wrap up here in a minute, but let me bring it back over. Have you watching the here the that light stuff right down. Bring it back around here. Bring it over here. Let you see the H series both working, doing their things. Chair out of the way. Little stretch to capacity here. Let me unplug that real quick. That going. Better. That's not too bad. Warning, my connection is unstable. Why is it? There we go. Y'all can hang out there for a bit if you'd like. Keep this going a little bit longer. No harm in that. A little bit more there. Yeah. H2D going with the correct filament for crying out loud. Well, I got to jump into Daniel's stream. So thank you all for watching. I hope that you like the new look at the inception. That's pretty cool. You can see the reflection of the monitor, the H2S and H2D. You can kind of see that. That's pretty rad. So appreciate y'all joining me again. Probably I think that this situation isn't too horrible with the table. It might be onto something here. Maybe I'll get a smaller one that's a little more agile. So I think this table I'm on right now are getting rid of. So I appreciate those of you that are here for the journey and sticking around. Very much so appreciate you being here. And I hope you, whatever you have going on this week, however crazy your life is, whatever challenges you're facing, I hope you really take some time to carve out space for you to make and create and have fun. I know that you are worth the investment and I am worth the investment. So do the things that make you happy because you are so very worth the investment. Take care, everybody. Have a great week.